The Omnitrix is destroying Ben 10. That might sound dramatic, but if you dig into the lore and the science behind this alien watch, it's clear that Ben could be digging himself a deeper grave every time he transforms. In fact, what he faces might be worse than death. Intrigued? Stick around. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Playful Theory, the show that's no ordinary kid, because an alien device stuck to my wrist and did what it did. Now, if you haven't guessed it, today we're talking about Ben 10, one of Cartoon Network's most iconic franchises. It started as a show about a 10-year-old named Ben Tennyson finding the mysterious Omnitrix in the woods. But it's become so much more. 5 TV series, multiple movies, crossovers, video games, billions of dollars in revenue. It's massive. In case you've been living under a rock, here's the quick rundown. Ben Tennyson teams up with his cousin Gwen, who has her own magical abilities, and his grandpa Max, who just so happens to know a whole lot about extraterrestrial life. With the Omnitrix on his wrist, Ben can transform into different alien forms, each with unique powers: super strength, super speed, fire control, flight, cosmic energy manipulation, you name it. The series evolves as Ben ages. He starts as a young, impulsive kid, but grows into a more mature, albeit still snarky teenager, and eventually a young adult. Along the way, the show's humor can get more adult. Some scenes even slide into gnarly body horror. Seriously, watch Ben 10, Alien Force and Beyond. Some parts feel more like a sci-fi thriller than a Saturday morning cartoon. But for me, the most interesting thing isn't the aliens, or even Ben's wisecracks. It's the Omnitrix itself, the technology that allows him to morph on a genetic level into another species. When you look closely, it's downright horrifying. I'm talking about how the Omnitrix literally merges with Ben's DNA. We learn early in the series that the watch can't just be slipped off. In fact, the first big villain, Vilgax, is shocked that Ben even managed to put it on, because once it's attached, it's practically fused to his genetic code. And not only that, it updates his biology, turning Ben into this half-symbiotic Ben plus watch hybrid that can't be separated without major trauma. At various points, the Omnitrix moves on its own, morphing into a goo-like substance that clings to Ben's arm. In one memorable episode, Ben's hand is literally severed, but he can still feel and move it via the Omnitrix. It even acts independently, climbing trees, trying to escape danger. It's like a creature with its own instincts for survival. It's pretty wild for a kid's show, and if you ask me, it's borderline parasitic. Once it's removed, if that's even possible, it feels like you're peeling off part of Ben's body. Yet as soon as Ben can reattach it, he does. Because at this point, the Omnitrix is more than a watch. It's part of who he is. According to the script for an episode of Ben 10, Ultimate Alien, the Omnitrix transformation is triggered by an Omnitrix pill released into Ben's bloodstream. This pill merges selected alien DNA with his human DNA, causing a full-body mutation. Think of it like taking a painkiller for a headache. The medicine enters your bloodstream and eventually wears off. Early in the show, that's why we see Ben always reverting back to his human form after a brief time. The Omnitrix pill times out because it dissolves, letting his body return to normal. Or does it? The timeout feature is critical. It's what keeps Ben from getting stuck as an alien permanently. We even have official Cartoon Network trivia that states, the Omnitrix's time limit is to prevent the alien DNA from attaching permanently to its host. That's a direct quote from a trivia card that aired during a Ben 10 marathon. If Ben stayed in one form too long, he could end up trapped, a permanent alien. But then we meet the Master Control. Once unlocked, Ben can transform whenever, and for however long, he wants, switching forms seamlessly. There's no red flash forcing him back to normal. Instead, when he changes back, it's a bright green flash. That might look like the old transformation wearing off, but it's actually a new transformation. This time from alien back into a stored version of Ben's DNA inside the Omnitrix. To see how permanent these changes can be, look no further than Albedo, an assistant to Asmuth, the Omnitrix's creator. Albedo tries making his own version of the watch, but when it syncs up with Ben's, it mistakes the template for human. Albedo ends up locked in a perfect clone of Ben's body. He hates it. He's stuck with all of Ben's teenage quirks, cravings for chili fries, even certain personality traits. That's because his entire genetic code got overwritten. Later, when his own Omnitrix is destroyed, he has no way to revert. He's literally trapped. That's the true horror of the Omnitrix. It's not just about appearances. It's your DNA, your mind, your personality. Everything could change. Ben grows up throughout the franchise, from the original series to Alien Force, Ultimate Alien, Omniverse, and even glimpses of the future. That means every time the Omnitrix recalibrates, it's updating his Ben template. Over and over, it's taking a new snapshot of his evolving DNA. But imagine saving a JPEG image repeatedly. Each time, a bit more data degrades. Sure, digital images and DNA aren't the same, but the principle stands. If you keep overwriting your code, you might lose something each time. The version of Ben Tennyson we see in later series could be many mutations removed from the original kid who first found the watch. For all we know, that first Ben effectively died the moment he turned into Heat Blast in Episode 1. Ever since, the human Ben might just be a carefully maintained Omnitrix copy. Kinda dark for a kid's show, right? So let's recap this cosmic horror story. The Omnitrix merges with Ben's DNA. Each transformation rewrites him on a genetic level. The timeout was originally his safeguard, but master control bypasses it. Staying transformed too long risks permanent alien mutations. Even reverting to Ben isn't really reversing the original change. It's applying a stored Ben Tennyson template that might degrade over time. In short, Ben might be a walking patchwork of transformations and retransformations. The price of being a hero might be losing who you really are at the most fundamental level, your DNA and your identity. But hey, that's just a theory, a playful theory. Thanks for watching.